Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to be introducing the topic of dividing fractions. Let's start by looking at these problems where it includes one integer and then one fraction. So in division, just like for whole numbers, the order matters. So it matters which number comes first before the division sign and which comes after. For multiplication, for fraction multiplication, it's the same as whole number multiplication where it doesn't matter. But here it does. So the trick for dividing fractions is that if you flip the top and bottom of the second fraction, you can turn the division sign into a multiplication sign. So that makes things a lot simpler for us. So if you look at 2 divided by 1/2, if you do, so 2 is the same, but if you just flip, so the 2 goes on top and then the 1 goes on bottom, that makes this division sign, you can turn it into a multiplication sign. So these two are actually the same problem. And this makes it a lot easier to solve because then it's just multiplication. And you know the answer to this. So it's like 2 times 2 over 1, which is just 4. And that's our answer. Let's try this again. It's a pretty simple concept. So let's try it again with this problem. 2 divided by 1/3. That's the same thing as 2 times 3 over 1. So now we know how to do this. So it's 2 times 3 is 6 over 1, which is just 6. Now 1/2 divided by 2 is the same thing as 1/2 times, and so because this problem is just like saying like 2 over 1, so we can flip that and it becomes 1/2. So anytime you're in doubt about like a whole number, just remember to change it into like fraction form, so-called fraction form, which is just putting a 1 under it. So you know, okay, that's the bottom, so I can flip it up on top. Now we have 1/2 times 1/2, which is just 1 over 4. The next one is 1/3 times divided by 2. So this is like 2 over 1. So now when we flip it, it's 1/3 times 1/2. And we multiply, it's 1 over 6. Next one, 1/2 divided by 1/2. It's the same thing as 1/2 times, when you flip it, it's 2 over 1. So then we can simplify, and we get the answer to just be 1. Now we have 2/9 divided by 2. So we have it's the same thing as 2/9 times 1/2 because it's 2 over 1. And then we can simplify. This becomes 1 and 1. And then when we multiply across, we get 1/9. Finally, our last problem, we have 4 divided by 4/9. That's the same thing as 4 times 9 over 4. And we can simplify that. So we cross this out and it becomes 1 and 1. And then we multiply across, we just get 9. And that's the end of our practice for introducing fraction division. Thanks for listening and see you next time.